Evening all. So let's have a look at some dust. Now, today what we're going to do is we're actually going to answer some letters from the from the email that we've got. I know we've got an email, isn't it incredible? First one's from Maxi. Now, this dude's in our corp and he is a top bro. And what he was asking really was, how do we see the squad roles developing as maps get larger, which is certainly something we've looked at before. Hope to see more tactical gameplay during battles. The squads getting split up, so you could have like tank squads, dropship squads, infantry squads, and within them you can have their own command roles. So tank commanders can direct, fire down on turrets and so on. And I think really, this is really the kind of next generation of where these kind of battles are going. So Maxi raised some really good points here. So let's talk about them. I think as maps get bigger, I mean, if you can imagine a map. Well, maybe let's use a comparison. If you've played PlanetSide 2, for example, you know how big, open, sprawling maps can basically mean that every soldier just feels completely isolated and on their own. What we need to do in Dust is have that kind of command structure where, there's going to be a general who is going to be the person at the top. Think of that as your fleet commander. You've then got maybe the person below that who will then be the captains, then you've got lieutenants, then you've got sergeants. I'm not suggesting that many levels, but I really agree that with what Maxi's saying here, that you do need a tank wing, you need a dropship wing. Your dropship wing are likely going to be dropping your infantry wing on target and then picking them up. So very much like infantry works today, I think this is going to be just imagine how awesome that would be. 5 dropships dropping a squad of 20 into the middle of an objective, mass gunfight. They retreat, they provide support from above. When the dust is settled, they land and pick them up. Same with tanks, a mass blitzkrieg of tanks followed by infantry. Ooh, it's getting exciting. Now, I think this is something that, again, only the really organised groups are going to do something with. So, great question. Thanks, Maxi. That was an awesome thing now. I think we could talk forever and a day about how this may work, but I would say it's all going to come down to maybe how disciplined and structured, perhaps, a corp will be. And it's all very well having, even if they made it, say, 15v15, 150 versus 150, or whatever it may be, you're not going to have a difficult time with that. Anyway, let's look at another one. Now, this one's more of a story, and I do love it when people kind of give me their little, strips or kind of bits of what happened in the game. And this one I thought was brilliant. So basically, it's about this dude who basically squads up, and they're testing off a really good dropship. So basically, it's quite an expensive, good fit. So they kick ass, dropships running around, basically just taking everything on. And this has happened to me numerous times where you land. You maybe wrap up the dropship, you kind of just keep the dropship going. But then all of a sudden, the thing takes off and you're not the pilot, which is always a bit annoying because usually it's some git that's gone into the ship, hit the afterburner, goes up in the air, does a 180 vertically, and then basically comes down towards the ground. Now, in this case, that obviously happened because literally, as they're trying to figure out who's who's flying, and obviously they're flying towards a building or a cliff, the map ends. So they keep their dropship. Now, I love this. This to me is going to be. This is almost the snippets. This is the Vox Pops, I would call this, where everybody has a story like, oh man, we played this map, and oh my god, you wouldn't believe what happened. And I'm sure everybody has them. Please email them to me because I'd love to just put a few on these videos, because I think there's something really awesome about Eve. It is in the same way, which is, you wouldn't believe it, 10 battleships came at me and I managed to evade, or this Titan was in trouble, we were tackled. And I'd love to have this in Dust as well. 10 infantry guys came at me and somehow I shotgunned them all in the face. Love it. Please send them through to me. I'd love to just at least read them. Now, I think that's probably a key thing in the game, really, because each of these individual experiences that you have, I think that summarizes what the game is to you. And Eve is a great example here, because Eve is just a collection of events, really. That's all it is. In fact, most games are like that. When you have sandbox style games like this, you pretty much make the epicness yourself. And I think that's certainly going to be true of Dust as well. So there we go. All right, let's have a look at another. So, again, Maxi, he sent me a couple now. So they're really good points. This is something that I couldn't agree more with, and I guess it's more of a statement. It's really just the Unholy Legion of Darkstar is now 300 plus people, so it's becoming quite a big corp, and that's growing every day. And again, shameless plug: if you want to join, come join us. And I would just quote: there are no entry requirements. Stop asking. There's no entry requirements. If you want in, just apply. We'll let you in. And I think this is certainly something that we're now starting to have a look at, because a lot of players are now starting to get to the point where I would say they probably have numerous skills, numerous kind of preferences, We've got some real kind of tankers, we've got some dropshippers, we've got some infantryers, and then you break that down, you've got heavyers, you've got logiers, you've got scouters and so on. So you've got kind of a range of people really who do different things. So what I would say is, again, this all comes down to the organisation. Now, we're not organised at all, but we're not bad. And I think certainly one of the key things we're going to start looking at is profiling the characters, the players we've got, and really understanding maybe what their specialities are, maybe understanding what they prefer doing. Because now we're starting to get a lot of court battles going. Usually we run a court battle like every day at least once. So if you're interested, just hit us up. And I think really what we're trying to do is focus more on getting the range of players right. Because, for example, if we can't just have a whole squad of tankers, well, you can, but that makes for a bit of a boring game. So what I think we're trying to do now is have a dropship pilot for the whole team. Then maybe a couple of tankers, a couple of heavy suits, a couple of logi bros, and then maybe the rest can be wildcard scouters and spawn pad droppers and so on. And that level of organisation, I think, is going to be the difference between success and failure, to be honest. Because, again, it doesn't matter how good a tanker you are, 8 people will take you down eventually. So, I think this is why, certainly this is a comment in terms of, what is the current position of our corp, what's the status, who can do what. Larger corps obviously have more trouble with this. So as you get into like the 1,000 members plus, you're going to have to kind of just start, well, I guess, assuming certain things. But I think this is where, again, even with the conquest part of the game, it's difficult to see how ever there's going to be a thing where your numbers can be brought to bear. More so than the difference between 500 and 1,000, for example. So, yes, the difference, if you've got an 8-man corp will probably not be able to have the stamina to go against the corporation of, say, 300, because they can keep bringing the pain, effectively. What I would say is probably different for, certainly way that Planetary Conquest will work is that you could have multiple battles happening at the same time. So if you're unable to actually field multiple corp teams, so multiple teams of 16, then you're going to probably be assailed from all sides. Also, the time zone thing comes in. I would also say the stamina thing comes in because, depending on the mechanics of Planetary Conquest, the likelihood that is that it will be something that I would say like POS warfare, player-owned structure warfare in EVE is basically along the lines of you reinforce something and then you draw a fight out, because that reinforcement phase means that the battle will happen at a predetermined time. Usually predetermined, and what that then enables the teams to do is to build defense but also promote attack. So basically both sides are pretty much ready to go. Now, what I would say with Planetary Conquest is going to be that there could be multiple attacks on your planet, your continent, your district, whatever they're going to call it, and you may have to respond with more than just one team. So this is where I think having strike teams may be ready now. So strike team alpha, strike team beta, strike team delta, or whatever it may be. You then start to at least build a group of teams that you can say, right, okay, strike team beta, go and defend that point, strike team alpha will do here, and then everyone else stay in reserve for maybe where they'll hit next. And I think that's going to be pretty awesome. But we'll certainly investigate that as we go. So there we go, Victory. This was a particularly, I guess, interesting skirmish, because obviously it started with nobody in it, so it was pretty much a forgiven we were going to win it. But it was a good one for me. I ran the prototype suit on this one, and that can be shown because I didn't die at all, got 17 kills. So it was a good match. I'm happy with that. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have messages, or if you want to just send us an email, maybe you have some concepts or thoughts that you'd love to share with us, squadbme at gmail.com. Make sure I get it right. And we'll certainly do some more of these kind of letterbox style videos again. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.